Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm your host, Chris Johnson, and this is another episode of Juswin. And I'm fresh off the plane from China. And I've been traveling the last 3 weeks. And some of the things that I've encountered and have came across has sparked today's episode. And when people message me, people say, "Are you tired? Are you jet lagged?" I went from Abu Dhabi and Dubai to All Star with Dwayne, from All Star back to LA for 2 days, and from 2 days into China. And in China, we traveled. We went to Hong Kong first, and right next to Hong Kong, for you guys that's never been in Asia, is a place called Macau, and it's like Vegas, but it's not Vegas, but it's like Vegas. And from Macau, we went up to Xiamen, and Xiamen was where the CBA All Star. So we went from NBA All Star to CBA All Star, and we were hosting our first annual Wade Basketball Academy, which was off the charts. And then from there to Beijing, where I did a coaching clinic, coaching school, and we trained the youth, the high school players at night. So Beijing trip, and now I'm back in LA in the studio with my team. And one of the things that I get as I was traveling is like, are you tired? Like, are you jet lagged? And the one thing that came to my mind is that I'm a hustler. I'm a pure hustler.
All right, let's define what a hustler is, though, because people need to know what it is to become one.
Well, for me, a hustler is someone first that has high energy. They have a mindset that they will not accept no at all costs. It doesn't matter what's in front of them, what obstacles are there. A hustler will figure out the solution. So being a hustler is someone really that thinks quick on their feet, that navigates situations. They choose their response, and they're gonna make it happen. They will not accept no at all.
So, no is also equivalent in our brains as a failure. Because if we get no, that means we failed. That means we
Absolutely.
failed at a yes.
Yeah, because like when people tell you no, or they say we don't have that, right? So you could go into a store and go to purchase something and say, "We're out today." Does that deter you from going to get that item? No. A hustler is going to figure out what store you need to go to, how much they have in inventory, what time they open, what time they close. They're going to have every answer. And so for me, having a hustler's mentality is so important that it doesn't put you in a position where you're so high up that you won't get dirty. You gotta do the dirty work. So for people that are building companies, for people that are building teams, you need a hustler on the team. You need someone that's gonna do all the dirty work. And the dirty work decides on what it is. You know, like in basketball, dirty work is like taking charges. Dirty work is setting screens. The dirty work is sprinting and hustling back tapping. The hustler is the one that's the team favorite, the fan favorite. The fans love someone that's like playing for everything. They're just leaving it out there on the floor.
So, what's an example of your hustler mindset that you had before you got to created Just Hoop where it is now versus your hustler mindset now? Because I think a lot of people think, well, yeah, I'd love to be a hustler and be traveling to China and be doing all this. Like, okay, yeah, but you had to hustle in different aspects. You had to be in gyms in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So talk about that. Like, what was the difference in that hustling mindset to where now you're a little more elevated of a hustler?
So the grind is different at each level, right? That hustler then, the hustler that I was 20 years ago, was trying to establish who I was. So I didn't get the sleep. I had to really study the craft. I had to build relationships and networks. I had to do things that I probably didn't want to do or probably shouldn't have done. I walk in gyms early. I'm going to sweep the gyms. I'm going to prepare everything. So when everybody gets in there, they're like, who did that? Me. And it was all for me to become an excellent teacher of the game. So the amount of work, the sacrifice, the time, the effort, the humility, my ability to be a sponge, that's been a hustler. I surrounded myself with a network of people that I can learn from. I was hustling. I would go from one gym to the next gym to the next gym, hustling with information, training, teaching, and I wasn't getting the top dollar for it at that time 20 years ago. Matter of fact, it wasn't even about money. What it was about was trying to figure out who I was going to become. You know, my dream, actually, when I stopped playing, was to be a coach in the NBA. And once I fulfilled that dream with the Houston Rockets, I realized that being a coach in the NBA wasn't who I thought I was going to be. I never thought that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I never thought that I was going to be able to facilitate my own company and be able to teach basketball at the highest level. I hustled to this point. Like, there was no script. There was nothing in place for me except a dream. And the dream was to be a coach at the highest level. And that's where the hustler's mindset came in. And along the way, when I'm coaching as a GA, I'm hustling getting a master's degree. So I was hustling getting a master's degree. I'm hustling coaching and college coach. And then from there I said, hey, I want to be a high school coach because I need to actually learn how to develop players. And when I meet a lot of like guys that consider themselves trainers or up and coming guys in the industry, the first thing they say is, I want to be where you are. And I say, oh, do you really? Because what I had to sacrifice and the amount of hustle and humility that I had to go through to get here, to become an entrepreneur, to be able to have Just Hoop as one of the leading development organizations in the country when it comes to basketball, I didn't know I was going to be here. Just hustling got me here.
So you embraced the hustle.
I am hustle. I am the hustle. Yeah, even in college, I've got 3 years in a row Defense Player of the Year for the team, like that we consider like a team award. So I got Defense Player of the Year 3 years in a row in the conference. But a team award that's voted by like the team members or the coaches was Mr. Hustler. And I got to go find the plaque. I got it 3 years in a row, Mr. Hustle.
Yeah, we need these photos.
Is that crazy, right? I got Mr. Hustle. Now that you even say that, I forgot all about it. But that was not like an award that was given by the conference. It was not an award that was outside of like the team. This was a team award for a banquet.
Yeah.
And I got it 3 years in a row. And now when I look back, I was, 19, 20, 21. And, I'm looking at where I'm at. And I've adopted this hustler mentality. And it's a few important points that I've lived by every day.
What are those points?
So number one is the way you prepare the night before. So that's so important to me. Coming off the plane from China, people are like, are you jet lagged? No, I'm preparing. So the whole trip, flying back, I was preparing. Now you take the preparing and you put an action plan to it. So you prepare, you put an action plan to it, and then you follow through. And then you follow up. So, yeah. So most people don't follow through, and most people don't follow up.
So explain the difference between the two. Right.
So let's say you meet someone, and they could be very important to your network. Well, the first thing is to follow through whatever you guys are talking about. Then you follow up. So if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Then I follow up and say, hey, I did it. And this is where I'm going with it. So most people, they may follow through, but they don't follow up. Or
And
they may
how can that affect them? What are some ways where people are like, well, why does it matter if I follow up or not? It's like, well, if you don't follow up, this and this can happen.
Well, where I am now, I feel like I have an elite group of people around me from like every aspect, whether it's agency, friends, business partners. People are reaching out to us every day for information, for opportunities. But what they don't do is they don't follow through. So if you reach out to me and I get on the phone with you and you're like, hey, I really need your advice. I'm really trying to move into this space. How do I do it? And I give you point 1, point 2, point 3. It's not for me to follow up with you. It's for you to follow up with me and say, look, I followed through on each point. Now, what will be my next step? So a lot of people are reaching out for information, but then they don't execute on information. And that's why it becomes very hard to get in contact with people that are successful. Because now you're not adding to their life. You're actually taking away from it because you just took information and did nothing with it.
Yeah.
And that ain't it.
So that's the hustling mindset, because it's the, hey, I did it. Like, I am doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Now what's next? Now what's next? Now what's next? Because that's how you got from coaching high school, coaching Houston Rockets. Now you're a coach, like a life coach at the highest level.
At the highest level.
To the highest people.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people probably think they have a hustling mindset, but I want you to explain the difference between busy work and hustling. Because I think a lot of people will do, oh, I'm on Instagram networking, I'm following a bunch of people, whatever. It's like, okay, but what are you really doing, like, for what you want to do?
You know, there's a big difference between busy work and actually hustling. Busy work is trying to showcase something, to get something. So, like, I'm showcasing this because I want this. A hustler is someone that's curating. They're writing their story. And while they're writing their story, they're chasing their dreams. They're chasing it by putting their feet to the ground and having action behind it. Like, busy work now with social media, you could really paint a facade about what you're really doing. Mm-hmm. And what does it look like? And people can buy into it. Some people are gullible. So you read different stories of people that they project what they're going through and they rinse and repeat. So every year you hear the same story over again. I actually, to be honest with you, I'm not going to mention this person's name, but I was sitting next to Corey on a flight and I was watching on social media someone that is in sports that continually has repeated his story over and over again for 5 years, I bet, or more, about his injury, why he can't be in the NBA. Like, at some point, you have to just hustle quietly. Your hustle don't have to be loud.
Yeah.
You don't have to be loud with the hustle. You can hustle quietly. You can be moving mountains quietly. You want to be behind the scenes getting things done. Like, boom, get it done, get it done, get it done. You don't need a sympathy pat on the back. A hustler, a true hustler, don't keep stats either. I'm hustling so much, and I'm mending relationships. I'm going, I'm building. I don't have time to celebrate. A hustler can't celebrate. A hustler has to put people in place that can help them run their social media account, that can help them build their team and build the different departments of a company. That's what a hustler does. So that's what the difference is, and that's what separates me. I know I'm a hustler, for sure.
And it's crazy because now you're doing it at a higher level. So it's
Right.
coming with, like you said, the jet lag. It's coming with what was it, 4 countries,
Yeah,
3
yeah,
countries
yeah,
in a month.
Yeah, and that's what I dreamed about, though.
Yeah.
That's what I was hustling for. And now that I'm here, I'm still hustling.
So do you think, we talked about the fear of failure. Now let's talk about maybe the people that have a fear of success. Because you were able to hustle it at the lower level, but I'm thinking about the trainers, the coaches, anybody else like, oh, I want to be like an NBA coach, but do you know the time that that's going to take?
Yeah.
How much more taxing that's going to be on your body, because you're going to be traveling. You're not doing it here just in one state now.
No.
Like, you're going to be traveling a lot. You have higher players. You have more eyes on you of trying to see results from your coaching. So let's talk about that. How would you tell somebody they're hustling, but they're a little bit afraid of that success that might be on the other side?
Well, most people that are afraid of success are not experts. See, when success is faced right in front of you, you have to know your shit. You have to master your craft. So most people that are afraid haven't mastered every step of their craft. Because the more you're put in the light, the more people are going to question you. The more people can look at you and point out your flaws. They can point out what you can't do. So you got to have a resilient attitude to be able to stand in front of success. So success comes with a price tag, but the price tag has been a master of your craft, your skill set, and which requires your time, which requires your sacrifice. It requires not watching TV. It requires not eating bad foods. It requires you getting up in the morning. Like, I was up this morning at 5 at hot yoga, 90 minutes for mental training so I can come to the podcast. It requires that, right? So people that are afraid of success are probably not fully prepared.
And how do you go and find what you need? Like, let's say I'm like, okay, I know what I'm great at. I don't know exactly what I don't have the great skill set in yet, but I'm afraid of that success because I know there's something I'm not great at. How do you find like, for example, you being a coach, where you're like, I'm great at developing players, I'm great at motivating them, I'm great at this, this, and this. How do you find but I need to master this? What if you don't know what you need to master just yet?
That's a part of life. Like when I was talking about my journey, right? I get the question all the time, bro, how did you get here? Working hard. Like, my true dream when I was in high school was like everyone else, play at the highest level of basketball, to get a college degree. It was those type of things. And then when I did those things, it's like, okay, be a professional basketball player. Now injury, now I want to be a professional coach. I didn't just say, hey, I want to be a high school coach or a college coach. I want to be the highest level coach, right? And even through hitting all of those goals, life's changed again. And said, wait a minute, you're going to be an entrepreneur. Not one time growing up, I thought about owning my own company, running my own business, being a brand partner with different companies, being an investor with VCs, developing product. I have my own product that I develop. That's art. I'm not an artist. When we talk about motivating and inspiring people, I didn't say I was going to ever produce an album. I produced an inspirational album to motivate people. I write ebooks. My book is coming out. I'm doing a documentary. That's all work. And so I realized that it's unscripted. And even though you have things that you kind of like, this is where I want to go in life. If you're really open to like who you really can become, you don't know where you're going to go. You just got to be prepared to work, to be resilient, put your head down, to study and be a student. So important.
Wow. Those are definitely like the top things that people need to like write down and be like, all right, every day.
This is what I'm doing.
Yep.
This is how we going to do it. This is how we doing it today. Let's go. So nah, this has been good. So guys, we're gonna wrap it up today. This has been another great episode with Juswin. We're here to inspire you, to make you, to give you information, critical, essential, key things that can guide you on your day-to-day journey, trying to make you a better person, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a student, a parent, businessman, entrepreneur. I wear all of the different hats, and it's just me being me, bringing information to you from my experience of life. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to this channel today. Drop your comments below because we're building community, and nothing bigger than building a community of people that believe the same things. And so we want this community, and we want to embrace you as you embrace me. Make sure you click that bell up there so every time we post, you get our post notifications. Tap in, and we out.